You have a Mike Allred banana like that. Oh my God, it says we're live, but are we recording? Recording in progress. Uploading.
Where's our music? Oh my God.
Oh gosh. Okay. Everyone, this is part of the bit. Clearly Django's not here. Let's see if we can find some music. Let's go to the media assets, acoustic cinema. That sounds
Ooh.
Hey everybody. Welcome to the Comic Space Presents a Perfectly Acceptable Podcast, episode 432.
432.
Probably. 431, maybe too. Also, could be episode 430. This is a peaceful respite from your daily life. Yeah.
Just light some sage, light some lavender.
Exactly. What I would like to make sure in this chill comic book vibe that we've set up, that I'm doing things correctly. One thing that Django usually does is tags a whole bunch of people. What happens if I write Brian Garside's name down? I don't think that that's a link out to him. So what if I try at Brian Garside? Let's try that. He's my go-to guy.
Huh.
Nope, that's not working either.
We're calling out to Canada.
Yes. So everyone, I think that what is happening is what's happening, which is that we don't have the right music and fewer media assets than normal, but I'm gonna let this music go for a little bit because, like, what a vibe.
Yes, very nice.
It is. One thing I'd like to include. Hey, everybody! Welcome to the Comic Space Presents a Perfectly Acceptable Podcast. I don't know if this is going out, and I don't know if there's any way to easily tag people to bring them in, but it is 7:26 on Sunday, and you know what that means. This is your weekly appointment with a couple of comic buddies, and the music makes me talk like this to people, which is just a little bit different than my normal voice, and I'm entirely fully prepared for us to find out in 30 minutes that this isn't being broadcast anywhere, and the 0 viewers that we've got is indicating to me that it might not be going out anywhere. But that's not why we do this, Roman. We do this to listen to chill tunes and talk to each other.
Of course. I mean, it says live and it's got a countdown going, so I'm assuming it's live.
Yeah. Django does do a thing to get people in here, and okay. What if I do this?
What's
if I tag it to just Facebook?
This is exciting.
That's not it. I don't know why I keep using Brian Garside. He's just the only person I know. At Brian Garside? I'm Brian Garside?
He's just
I'm Brian Garside.
Cuddly Canadian we know.
Yeah, he really... Actually, I'll say this. One of the most cuddly human beings I know. Yeah, this music, it's 7:28, so we're still 2 minutes before showtime. So this is really kind of our pre-show banter warm-up while I'm
we're on the ball.
Trying to
we're cooking with gas.
Figure out how, and then I'll introduce everybody to my sales associate here. But wow. Django, if you are out there as a sadistic little man just watching this to see if we got it off the air, let me know if it's going out there live, and maybe tag some people. Hop in that chat, Jangy. But by hearing me say that, dear listener, you can trust that Django is not here, which is why I'm talking to him and not getting a response. Widgets, style, media assets. Post a comment. Wow.
Widgets.
This is good radio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is excellent.
You're a pretty big fan of the Minions movies, right, Roman?
Oh, I am. Of course. I I don't even know which movie franchise did the Minions come out of before they became their own franchise.
That doesn't matter. That's not why we fell in love with them.
Okay.
We
I
fell in
don't
love
even know.
with them for other reasons.
Because of their cute little language. Their little
Show
minion language.
comments on stage, which means that everyone can see that we're really trying to get Brian Garside in here. Brian,
this is the Brian Garside podcast.
We'll know if one person starts watching it that it's working. But you know what? I'm going to assume, because there's 0 people watching right now, it's because we were starting like 2 minutes before the normal time. And that's just people don't know to show up yet. Also, that was the end of the StreamYard stock. Oh, it's going again. We'll stop it. The stock StreamYard acoustic cinematic StreamYard background miscellaneous music, which is, I think you and I can both agree, pretty fantastic. I'm going to hide that panel. I'm going to put the comments out. I'm going to pretend this is all working as normal. One thing you and I, Roman, can both realize right off the bat is that a different thing is usually happening in the background. Usually it's got the shop logo.
Yes.
I'm signed into our point of sale business StreamYard account. This is all according to plan. It's all according to plan, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
There's a little button down
part of the
bottom.
bit. It's an extended bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Papcast. It's all bits this week, buddies.
Yeah.
Hopefully
hilarious.
Hopefully it's recording and I'll be able to access it and get it to our Andrew editor. But one thing's for sure this week is that Will did send us an email. So, okay, time to transition out of unprofessional Jeff into professional Jeff.
I always love seeing this.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Comics Place Presents a Perfectly Acceptable Podcast. It's a video podcast this week, even though there's a possibility that you're only able to hear it and not see it anywhere. I know for dang sure that you're not watching it live because I didn't tag anybody. And here's the thing, everyone. Here's the thing. One day, Django was like, I bet I could figure out. He just started fiddling around how to do this live and video and stream it places. And one time he was going to be gone months ago, and he showed me how to set it all up. And I did that. And you might remember, Fair Maiden Voyager, that there was a time where that happened. However, it was months and months ago. So as we signed on here and StreamYard has undergone its changes, and Django, who is alive, don't worry. He's
100%
alive.
Hale and hearty.
Yeah, he's always well. He's alive, but he's not here tonight. Holy shit, Django's. I mean, sorry, Roman. Somebody's viewing us now.
What?
Someone is
Seriously?
here.
Someone is here. Evidence of that.
Someone is here.
Oh my God, who is it?
This is one of our episodes where we're very engaged with the chat. Let's make sure that we're going to all destinations. Hi, viewer. Hi, viewer.
Hi.
Hey, viewer. I guess they probably don't need us to. Is it me?
Oh,
it's
Ken
Ken Alberry. It
Sweet.
is. It's Ken Alberry. What we desperately needed was somebody to show up because Django's not here and we don't know how to tag everyone to get them in here. As you can see, there's Brian Garside is written several times in the chat. It only occurred to me while I was writing hi viewer a second time that if they're viewing us, they can hear us. So I didn't have to do that. Ken, thank you for being here. This is Roman and Django's. I don't even know who I am. Y'all, I'm going to be totally transparent. I'm flying to San Diego tomorrow with Django. And we're going to San Diego Comic-Con. And things are a little bit chaotic. So now that we know that this is going somewhere, thank you, Ken Alberry, tip of the cap. You tag as many people in that chat as you want because I don't know how to do it. I think that Roman and I just wanted to gather aboard and talk about some comic books the week of 431 or 2 or 430. Before we get into all of that, I found out just before recording that Roman had also independently gone to see the movie The Odyssey. I saw the movie The Odyssey. So without spoiling, Ken Albert says if you are subscribed, you get an alert, tag, or notifications. Thank you, Ken.
Oh,
I don't know
cool.
stuff.
Good to know.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know.
no spoilers conversation, but Roman, you
Yes,
saw the Odyssey. What did you think of it?
I did see the Odyssey.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
It was quite an Odyssey. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. All
Yes.
right. I
Yes.
also real thumbs up. Django and Sean and Eli and Logan and I went, all shop folks, to see the Odyssey on Thursday night, the IMAX big old screening there. And just part the kimono a little bit to any viewer and future viewer listener. Logan, who handles 90% of everything at the shop at this point, you know, probably in their, I don't know, probably 27, 28. But I was working the shop when they were only like 10 or 11. And Roman, you were as well and still are.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Logan was just but a youngin'? I don't know if you do. We were working Wednesdays a lot, and that's what they would always come on. Craig Mueller's here. Rock on, Craig.
Oh, hey, Craig.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember. I mean, I look at him now and I can't picture 10, 11, 12-year-old Logan.
Well, a cool thing about Logan at that age is that they were falling in love with movies and wanted to be like a movie director when they grew up. And all the while, they just had this like love of comic books growing inside of them, which is great because now they, again, handle, you know, the shop. But it was very cool to get to go see the Odyssey, a giant Christopher Nolan extravaganza, and be sitting next to Logan, who is now, you know, darn near a manager at the shop, an adult for sure, sitting next to me as an adult watching this movie, and me remembering like when they were first watching Steven Spielberg. So not a hashtag, not a parent, hashtag, not a dad, just a weird uncle who, you know, works at a comic shop, but I've gotten to watch people grow up. So it's pretty cool. So Roman, what did you think of the Odyssey? No spoilers, everyone.
I liked it a lot. I really liked that. What can I say with no spoilers? No spoilers here, but I like that the whole theme throughout of breaking Zeus's law in regards to civility to, you know, beggars
Decorum.
and guests and everything. How that the breakdown of that through Odysseus's own actions mirrors, you know, what's happening in American society now and has been since 2016.
Yeah, it's interesting. People have kind of referred to this as a spiritual successor to the Oppenheimer flick that he did a number of years ago, which I totally agree with now that I've seen the movie. When was the last time you read the Odyssey?
Oh, geez. Over, I don't know, almost 30 years ago when I was my classical lit class at Western.
Mine was 20 years ago. So like I remembered some things about the Odyssey, but not much. So getting into it, I was like, I feel like we've seen a Cyclops at some point. Bam, Cyclops. But like overall themes and like what the story meant, I didn't necessarily have a firm grip on going into it. So I don't know necessarily if the sort of theme and thrust of the film that I left with is kind of what the original book was going for. Probably not, because it, you know, was pre-Trump's America. Ew. Even just saying. But yeah, I agree. Like, kind of looking at this hugely epic tale that is kind of ubiquitous across all lines of fiction, and getting to see it be portrayed by like who I consider to be a modern master in film. It was very cool to get to watch that person create a story that they wanted to tell from this story that so many people know well. So like the themes I thought were awesome. And Roman, exactly like you said, the kind of breaking down of, I said the word decorum, but like civility and what the Trojan horse meant. And the way that then bleeds out into the rest of the story, I thought was so cool and not a thing that I associated with that story.
Yeah, I can't remember in the original and Homer's epic poem. I assume maybe those themes were there. I mean, you know, it's like Shakespeare or, you know, other great Greek ancient literature. It's still relevant through the millennia to human beings. but yeah, I'm not sure how much it differed, because all I remembered about Odysseus from the original work was that, yeah, he was a great hero. I don't know if it stressed that, his own dumbass decisions that get his men killed and get them off course. If he just followed Agamemnon like his crew wanted to in the first place, they would have been fine. They would have got back 5 years earlier or something.
Yeah, that was a really interesting part of the film because, Matt Damon's the protagonist, and Matt Damon, who is henceforth referred to as Matt Damon, there was interesting parts where, Matt Damon would act with a fair amount of hubris, even in that initial act of defying the route that they were going to go home.
Yeah.
Was an act of hubris, and there was several other kind of key ones throughout the movie, and I was kind of like, that doesn't seem very 2026 protagonist vibe, right? It was like, why did he do that? A couple other times he did things like that, Matt Damon. And yeah, it was just incredibly well done. And the cast I thought was amazing. I thought the music was awesome. Logan and I are both big film score heads. So is Sean. So getting to watch all that together was very, very cool. Roman. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I agree. The cast was amazing. And the dork in me was like, oh, it's really cool seeing Batman trying to get with Catwoman, but her son Spider-Man's all mad at him.
Yeah, and Mary Jane's over there as an ephemeral spirit. Yeah. No, I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, cool. So they were all together here, and then they're gonna go over to a Marvel movie, and after that, they're gonna be in Dune together, and they're all just these characters traveling together. But it's still real fresh. It just came out this weekend. I would highly recommend people go see The Odyssey. I loved it. So Roman, I think it's only fair that we give it a 1 to 10.
Oh, geez, 10.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 10. It was the most fun I've had at the movies in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, no spoilers, but the different way they did Cersei from the usual way, so cool.
Dude, all of it. A thought just occurred to me, Roman, as we're transitioning into the comic portion of this comic book podcast video cast that we now know is going live. I just realized that we have 2 viewers, and it's Ken Alberry and Craig Mueller live. We get hundreds of people listening audio and tuning into the views on the channel afterwards. But Ken Alberry and Craig Mueller have now entered into a pact, an agreement together, which is that they have both outed themselves as the viewers. There are 2. And if that goes down to 1, they will be throwing each other under the bus unless they make it known that they're the ones still there. Because if one goes away, we know it's one of those 2. So, just be careful, guys. But listen, this is a comic book podcast. That's why you get here. This is an episode of it. It's a number. And what I like to do when we're all fully equipped and ready to go is, play a voicemail message from our dear friend, William Elmer. Now, William Elmer knows to send any contribution that he would like to this podcast to the email address jeff@thecomicsplace.com. Now, normally, Django would throw up on what I believe is referred to as a ticker or subtitle that you should send that email to jeff@thecomicsplace.com. He created that email address specifically for the podcast. So if you, like Will Elmer, want to contribute to, slightly more professional versions of this podcast and not what we're doing right now, which is just plopping it there for you. You can send that to jeff@thecomicsplace.com. But your normal view of titles on the bottom, that's not going to happen this week. Django does a lot of stuff during the podcast. And I don't. So I'm not super going to worry about trying to figure it out this time, which is why you're seeing a photo of a banana next to us, because spoilers, we're going to be talking about that banana book. But this is a ball of wax. It's mostly just an ego trip for me right now. Let's hear from our friend Will Elmer. What do you think, Roman?
Yes, let's hear. I'm anxious to hear what he's got to say.
Hello, and happy episode number, I don't know. I think maybe it's like 430 or something, but I've completely lost track. But you know what? I did see The Odyssey this week, and I thought it was excellent. Christopher Nolan's take on a classic tale written by the one Homer. And it made me wonder about comics, as usual. We've got some cool comics out there that are like artistic interpretations of classic stories, much like Chris Nolan interpreted the Odyssey in an awesome way. There's stuff out there like Batman Noel, which is like A Christmas Carol. Or one of my favorites, Slaughterhouse 5.
You're
Ryan
taking all of them.
did. And I wanted to know, what are some of your guys' favorite comic book adaptations of classic tales and stories? Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
That's a really hard one, and you took the one that I would have said, which is Batman Noel. There have been a number of pretty great small little adaptations. I can't help but want to mention the adaptation in the shadow of Citizen Kane in the Baker Helfer run that I just recently went to the theater and saw Citizen Kane for the very first time. And getting to see that unlocked a whole number of references that I didn't have before. Simpsons episodes, South Park references, comic book references, but the shadow referencing Citizen Kane, always a classic. Not literature though, technically. I'm not a well-read boy. What about you, Roman?
Boy, those are and I don't know. Because Will did mention a great one, the Slaughterhouse 5 one that came out in the last few years, I think. God, I'm trying to think because I want to say that there was when Alan Moore was it still Alan Moore doing Swamp Thing that he did a and I can't remember if it was actually an kind of an adaptation of Dante's Inferno when Swamp Thing went down to hell, but I can't remember if it was a strict adaptation or just kind of similar themes.
Okay,
so I don't know if it counts.
I bet if we had the creators telling us, they'd be like, oh, this was overtly obvious reference to this piece of literature. But currently right now, I'm blanking on them. I'm mostly just kind of astounded that we just talked about the Odyssey and then went to this voicemail apropos nothing. And William was speaking about the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh.
There was a graphic novel of Gilgamesh that I haven't read yet, but I remember when that came out.
I will say that there was the illustrated version of The Road that we have at the comic shop is amazing, though it's not fully comic book, panel, but that is gorgeous and is a lot of illustration.
There was a great
1984 had a really good one.
Yeah. I think last year, the year before, God, it was on my pick shelf for a while, and now I've forgotten the title, but it was a retelling of Huckleberry Finn, except from Jim's perspective.
Oh, was it just called Jim?
Duh. Yeah, I think it was just called Jim.
Yeah, Craig Mueller says anything about Thor? ? I don't know what he means there.
Well, there's been lots of Ragnarok adaptations in Thor.
Oh, that Walt Simonson Ragnarok. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was released as issues, but gorgeous hardcovers. Walt Simon. Yeah, that was a cool adaptation of Ragnarok. For sure. Listen, we're not going to look like idiots in front of you guys forever. We got Craig Mueller and Ken Alberry here. I want to say, Craig and Ken, thanks for being awesome members of the comic book community and the Comics Place family. So Ken Alberry in the chat here, we're just going off script because it's Roman and Jeff, so it's only like half a show. But Ken said he's currently drawing a comic book with adventures of some guys named Jeff and Django while I'm listening, so I'll be here for a while. So that deserves a shout out. A number of Bellingham people are doing a collaborative comic book that will be making its appearance at Pack Nerd Way. And if you don't know what Pack Nerd Way is, it's Pacific Nerd West, the comic convention that Django and Colette organize and run, which is incredibly cool. It's so awesome that there is this cool thing coming out from local creators, one of whom, Jake Zender, who works at the store. If you come to the Comics Place often, you know him. He's also contributing. That's the kind of thing that like a local convention and just like being a local community comic shop is incredibly important to me. I want people to feel like they're creativity is supercharged by getting to come into our comic shop. So very excited to see that when it comes out. And apparently, yeah, Ken has got a funny story shout out. I think it's Django themed, but I'm sure I'll be there. But on the topic of Django themed, you've got a giant banana headshot next to me over here.
Yeah,
now, Roman, do you see this banana over here?
I do, with the supple lips, yes.
Yeah, you referred to them as supple lips multiple times.
I'm very drawn to the lips of that banana.
Yeah, dear listeners, you're here, and it looks like we're technically 25 minutes into this thing, but Django and I'm so used to that. Roman and I are really pretty far into the time commitment of figuring out how to do this thing. So it feels like it's been hours, but Roman, this week, a comic book came out from the Bad Idea Press company called Banana Number 1. This book, which I brought back because I realized we were 100% going to sell out, which I bet we have by now, was written by Joshua Dysart with art by Kevin McGuire. It also had a pretty robust backup story, black and white. I'm talking about you, Lapham. But this book, Banana Number 1, I don't know if you, dear listeners, viewers, know, but you should know at this point that Django loves a couple of things. He loves whiskey. He loves traveling. He loves Indiana Jones and the Shadow. And he loves bananas. In fact, it's one of his deepest, most scientific passions. Now, Django is to bananas what I am to cereal, which is somebody who likes to tell the grand narrative and story of the cereal industry, keep up with what they're doing that's new, provide written and informed reviews about what's going on with those cereals. So Django's always doing that with bananas. Seems kind of crazy he's not here, if you ask me, for Banana Number 1. But I foolishly didn't order enough of this for our comic shop, because I just didn't thread the needle of like, Django's obsessed with bananas. Our customers know that. We're going to run out of bananas. So all of that aside, we've got this incredible Mike Allred cover with this space banana. What the hell was this, Roman? Can you break it down?
It's a banana that apparently there's this I assume it's radiation zone that humans avoid, and the first being to come out of this zone was this mutated banana dude with legs and arms and a face and sentience. And apparently he's super, super smart because he has created all sorts of scientific things.
And well-dressed.
Well-dressed. He's basically James Bond, Indiana Jones, throw in your action hero, Jason Statham.
Yep.
But
Django,
he's a banana.
Centric. Yeah.
He's a banana. And he has a sidekick that he rescues in this issue. Ends up in a space battle, and the final panel that's kind of like that Steranko Nick Fury cover with him in space. It's cool. It's just this goofy banana, and there's other fruits out there and fruit factions that fight each other but decide not to fight each other because no fruit dies today.
It's cool, but it's also like an absolute slice of absurdity. What would it take to make a Banana Number 1 comic? What is this, and why does it exist is what I want to know.
I know, that's me too, and I can't help, as soon as I saw the cover, it's like somehow Django put this idea into Joshua Dysart's head, I assume, but I don't know.
Yep, Django does like to, Joshua Dysart is the one that turned Django onto the Viagra Boys, if I remember correctly. This is put out by Bad Idea Comics, so Dinesh's comic company, who is a sweetheart. Two things. One, there's a variant for this that's the Bad Idea staff holding up a cosplayer in a banana cover, because Dynamite does cosplay variants all the time. So it's like, here's a hot lady in a Red Sonja costume.
Yeah.
And this was just like the whole staff with a person in a cheap banana costume. So I like that. But yeah, it is absurd that it exists, and I can't help but wonder why. except that Bad Idea does like a hit of absurdity in their comic books. I do want to shout out Ken Alberry in the chat, says She Knew issue number 14, which is local creator, local comic book, available at the comics place. She Knew 14 will have the debut of the new character Banana Havoc. So if you wanted Banana number 1 and didn't get it because it sold out, come in and make sure and grab a Banana
I've got one
Havoc.
to return.
Okay, good. I wanted to say
Banana Havoc. That is a brilliant name. I love that.
It's a really brilliant name,
great,
Ken. So She issue number 14 will have that. And just like, we're hanging out, right? It's only half a podcast because it's Jeff and Roman. We got some local people in the chat. Come in and check out Ken Alberry's comic book, She Knew, which we've got issues of in the store. There are a whole variety of super fun things within there, whether it be local people or local locations that If you're a Bellinghamster, you should come check it out because there's a Bellinghamster. All of that to say,
one of my favorite.
She Knew.
That's one of my favorite memories of She Knew. I don't remember which issue, but I remember I was on a break at my other job at the Walking Museum, and I was reading an issue of She Knew, and the villain's headquarters is in, the Walking Museum Old City Hall building. And I was sitting there in the break room there in the boardroom reading my comic and eating my pizza. And I was like, well, wait, that's where I am right now. Oh my God. So cool.
So I wrote shout out local heroes and local creators and just local folks being able to get comics. But no, that's not why we're here. We're here to rate Banana number 1, which exists, I guess, in a slice of absurdity. I don't even remember it super well because I read it 6 days ago, and had to bring mine back. And so I can't even flip through it.
Okay.
But I
read mine this morning.
Oh, okay. So you're fresh on it. You're like a green banana on it, whereas I'm like a slightly brown bruised banana.
And it has a preview in the back of the new Mark Waid, David Lapham series coming up, When I Was 5. And that preview is intriguing. I can't wait to read that.
And Mark Waid doing a Bad Idea book is interesting because no shade to any of the creators that they've got going, but to me that would be kind of the highest profile creator that they've had so far in a Bad Idea book. So I'm definitely excited about that as well.
Are you excited about I assume you've got to love this cover because it's such a nod to Wally Wood, EC Comics, science fiction comics.
I love the cover. I love it. I enjoyed the cover more than I enjoyed anything else about the comic, which is, again, not throwing shade on the comic. It's a brilliant cover, and I'm a huge fan of the All Reds. So that is just a throwback cover, and this stupidity, I don't mean to say it negatively because I'm a big fan of stupid shit, but the stupidity of this is all about the Banana number 1. So cover, that is. But my score on a 1 to 10, 6.5.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. I'm not trying to throw shade.
Oh, no, not at all. Kind of a hard, I don't know if I should score it like individual. I'll just, the overall book, the overall package, I'll give it 8.
The overall bushel.
Yeah. And that's the Mark Waid's preview, the Josh Diehart banana story, the little, whatever this goofy little strip is in the back called Realligator.
Oh my God, the Realligator ties into the Dean Goliath, which Django and I briefly talked about last week, which is this monster verse that Bad Idea is doing. Which I believe was written as well, maybe, but definitely the art by Mannix, last name following. That Dean Goliath was like 10 pages, 12 pages, and it was mostly just visual. But Mannix's art is incredible. So, I'm actually pretty intrigued by the Bad Idea monster verse that they've got going on.
Cool.
There would have been a lot more clever banana input, clever banana stories, puns, meta banana narratives. We're our banana enthusiast here. He is not, because again, we're flying out of town tomorrow, and we both had some things to take care of leading up to it. But Roman, God damn it, I'm gonna call you Django so often because I'm only ever on video calls with Django.
I mean, you can if you want. I don't mind. Whatever.
You're my
cherry pie.
Thank you. Such a sweet surprise. Three Worlds, Three Moons Foundations is the main thing that I wanted to talk about this week, because this is Three Worlds, Three Moons Foundations. This is a weird thing. Roman, do you know much about why this exists or what this is?
I knew nothing about that until I finished the comic and read the text piece in the back.
Thank God for text pieces and Roman's proclivity towards reading them.
Yeah.
So at Comics Pro in February this year, there was a pretty large announcement made, which is that Dark Horse is going to be printing the Three Worlds, Three Moons stuff. And I say stuff because Three Worlds, Three Moons is a Substack kind of thing you can buy into that started years ago. So like kind of like Patreon, but Substack is, people produce articles or media and you can pay to follow them. So Hickman and Mike Huddleston, did the cool thing of creating kind of an open template. Like, we're going to be doing this thing called Three Worlds, Three Moons. It's going to be written pieces. It's going to be artistic pieces. It's going to be infographics. It's a whole bunch of stuff. And I've been paying for it and getting it since before it started coming out. And that was several years ago. I don't even remember how. I think I was at the previous house that I lived in. So at least 4 years ago, I think. And I do that because Jonathan Hickman is a creator that I have to support. I love him. I love his work. I love the way his brain tackles stories. His penchant for infographics rubs me the right way because my brain visualizes in a very similar way. I got an awesome reward, which in a moment where Roman is talking, I'll run and grab. But I haven't even opened it yet.
Really?
But it's like a source book. But yes, they've been populating it with stories. They've added additional creators in here, like Nick Spencer and Mike Del Mundo. But it is predominantly Jonathan Hickman and Mike Huddleston when it began. So again, pardon my ignorance on the general overall direction of where it's headed. I am a financial supporter of the game, though. Yeah. So, Roman, you said that you were a little disappointed that this wasn't related to Isaac Asimov. So while you tell me what you think about this, I'm going to run and grab the paperback that they sent me as a reward.
Cool. Okay. No, and I wasn't. That was mostly a joke. I wasn't that disappointed. I just, because of the title, that's what I expected. This was a fun read. Mostly, I just love the art in this. The art is gorgeous. I was a little less into the story. Well, I was more into the beginning of the story. Which
we got a third viewer, Roman. Someone else is here. Make yourself known in the chat.
Yeah,
you're neither Craig Mueller nor Ken Alberry. Make yourself known in the chat while Roman continues to talk.
I really like the opening sequence. Oh yeah, we got an unboxing video going here too. Man, we are a multi content platform.
Get ready for our whatnot streams, everybody.
What
but
could
I'm not
it
selling
be?
This.
Oh no, of course I gotta hang on to that. I really like the beginning of this book because it's just a dad telling his son some science fiction story, but it's about their world and his job and their moons. What'd you get?
So this is a book that is called The Three Worlds, Three Moons Source Book 1. Clearly, Jonathan Hickman graphic design. So this is, I believe, after a year of having supported the Substack for this creation, they sent me this, and it is a comic book, like a big old graphic novel with large text pieces as well. What I think that these Dark Horse issues are printing this sort of stuff in a way for a larger consumer base to be able to have access to, because not everybody was doing Substack. But in fact, I'm sure it's a very small number of the people that would be reading a Jonathan Hickman comic book. So putting these things out in an issue format is incredible. And again, this was sent to me a couple of years ago. I just haven't opened it because that's the status of my backlog right now.
Really?
So I'm sure that the issue contents that we had this week from Dark Horse are in here.
But I bet that is it all different material or?
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of different material. What I can say from the time that I spend in the Substack is that It is 3 worlds, 3 moons is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an invitation for them and other creators to build an interconnected, interwoven universe of stories across these different planets and moons and how they interact with one another. I will say that in the first 25% of this, it's not stuff that I've seen in that issue, but it's got some incredible art. Oh my God. And it's a really interesting flow. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, and what seemed from the text piece and back, it was a lot of the ideas in here are things that their Substack folks were suggesting to them.
Yeah, so that's the other really cool thing about it is that Substack, similar to Patreon, has a very interactive interface for the consumers or the people who are supporting it and the creators making it. So it's like a world building experiment with the community as well as the creators.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Whole new way of doing comics.
Which is what I love about Jonathan Hickman, and I'm seeing Christian Ward art in here. I'm nearing the end of my flip through, and it is possible that nothing in this giant source book is in the issue that had come out.
Oh, wow.
This looks like a college textbook. Like it's got infographics and text pieces, and then 9 pages of comic booking, and then a whole article on mining, and then a whole article, like chapter on the religion of these places, and a whole chapter on the magic of these places. So I think that's amazing. And the thing that kind of stopped me from opening this a couple years ago when it showed up was just feeling like I hadn't spent the time gathering the context yet in the Substack to be able to kind of process this correctly. And, turns out this Foundations comic is what I needed to bust it open. And being on a podcast and a little bit stressed out because my guy Django's not here. But the art is amazing. These are probably kind of valuable, frankly. But I assume that this stuff will be put in these Dark Horse things that are being printed, because I do know it's not all just Foundations. It's like this big world. So I don't know how they're going to put it out, Roman. And this is terrible content. So please and thank you for being here.
Wow, it's cool because I screwed up my scheduling. It wasn't on the podcast last week, but there was a comic that came out, I think it was last week, a Doctor Who with...
Oh, yeah. We didn't discuss that.
Yeah, with the Fugitive Doctor, who also is doing a new thing in comics, because I didn't hear anything about this until I read the issue and saw the chain of chapters in the back page. Because the first, and not even the first part, was in that comic last week. The first part, kind of the prelude, is on the Doctor Who unit website out of England. You go to the website and you read this thing, and it doesn't tell you to look for clues, but you get to the bottom of that section and it asks you a question, and you're like, well, I don't know. And then you go back up, and I realized, oh, there's certain letters are in red. So I typed all those letters in, and it unlocks, and that's the code, and it lets you into extra material.
Oh,
and then you go
cool.
back. Yeah, and then you go back to the next section of the website. The same thing happens again, but you have to figure out what the clues are and put them in. And that's the prelude to the comic that came out last week. And then the next part of the story is, I think the next part is in some kind of audio thing, and then there's the next part in a comic, and then there's the next part that's in a game, like a board game or some kind of game coming up. And they just do that, and there's CDs and
so
websites.
I have to ask, I'm pretty aware of the way that you interact with technology. How do you specifically feel about that?
At first, I was like, I got to go to a website and do all this crap. But it was so well done. I was like, this is really fun. And I probably won't be buying a game to get that part of the story, but I think it's really cool that they're doing this in all these different related media. So if you want the whole overarching story, you got to do all this stuff. I don't know how they're going to do it with I assume a regular CD as part of the story somehow. So
I think that's very interesting. And so it sounds like, even though you don't necessarily assume that you will be keeping up with it and finding all the avenues for that story to be told, you are excited about them pursuing that type of thing.
Yeah, it's just cool, innovative way of doing essentially comics. I mean, of course, Doctor Who is in all media, but just new creative ways of doing comic book stories. And it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. And especially for folks that like maybe there's folks unlike me who don't want to read the comic, but they'll totally be into like the audio portions or the game portion.
Totally. Yeah, I'm a big supporter of people being experimentational with media. And I think that right now in this world of like AI, but internet and music and things being digitally laced together and special features of a DVD being able to be accessed, via a website, exploration, I think, has to be done at this point. And this 3 Worlds, 3 Moons Foundations issue, I think, did just that. And what is crazy is that on that front title there, which you can see next to our heads, if you're viewing us on Facebook or YouTube, go to the YouTube channel, Comics Place. They do not have Jerome Pena as an artist listed on the cover. And there are 8 pages of Jerome Pena art in here. And that is insane because Jerome Pena is one of my favorite creators and their work is notoriously slow. So to have them in here and have been working on stuff in this is amazing. So getting to learn the overall cast of creators associated with this 3 Worlds, 3 Moon thing is going to be very exciting. This issue kind of focused on almost like Hickman allegory father who goes out to space and disappears and doesn't come back, and we're kind of following the child on Earth while also, or not on Earth, but the planet they're on, while also kind of parallel exploring what that father is going through. So I thought that was interesting. But Roman, kind of similar to that Doctor Who thing, more than anything, I'm just very excited about how this is coming out and the weirdness of it. And I do think I generally have like a concern of like, I'm not doing the work to follow it all, so I shouldn't start it yet until I make sure I can understand it all. And this thing coming out in a printed form by a publisher makes me feel like they're going to have a priority towards making sure it's accessible. And I think that was the main problem I was having with the Substack, is like feeling inaccessible. So very excited for this. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. A lot of that coming from my excitement for the creators and the unique nature at which they're executing this thing. And, I'm a Hickman apologist. What can I say?
I'm going to give it an 8. I mean, the art is beautiful. There's a 2-page spread of some of the gods, I think, of this world, and just with our protagonists in the little cauldron there, and it's beautiful. I love this white stag god. Yeah, this is fun.
Hickman more than anybody can like do the thing where I feel like I'm thrown into a world and nothing makes sense, but I am confidently assembling the floor as I move forward, or taking the leap of faith in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade of walking across the invisible bridge because I trust the creators to be assembling it in front of me. So I love that. I'm excited about it. And I'm very happy that Dark Horse is doing this. Dark Horse making some of the best collected editions of comic books coming out, period. They're responsible for the deluxe hardcovers of Berserk, which I think changed the way Western audiences engaged with manga in terms of compiling them into like 3 volumes at a time and then making it a slightly larger dimension. So Dark Horse, a lot of love for you guys, even though your market share might not dictate, might not show that you are supported like that. You are. We love you. We're here for you. Roman.
Yes, Jeff.
I need to hear about Avengers Armageddon #2. I'm going to go back to our banana photo because I didn't load them all in. That's Django's gig. He's great at doing all of that stuff, the silent work that doesn't get enough credit. That's all Django.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Well, that banana there, that's just, you can just think of him. You can just think of that banana as the Golden Avenger.
Yep. The Golden Avenger, Django, who's here in the chat and the video feed with us. But Avengers Armageddon #2 came out this week. This is Chip Zdarsky's large-scale Marvel event that's coming out that came off the heels of his Captain America run, as well as a Weapons of Armageddon miniseries that was coming out. art by Delio Diaz and Frank Alpizar. I just have to say right off the bat that I think this art is stunning. And if it weren't for Three Worlds, Three Moons Foundations this week, it would be my favorite art that came out in a comic this week. But I was a little foggy in the brain about what exactly had happened in the first issue. And I feel after reading the second one, like I have a more concrete foundation of what this story is about. But Roman, you're like an old school Marvel head. You have been through the days where there's only a couple Avengers titles, and whether you like them or not, you're following along with it, and you kind of like it because that's just where your universe is. So how are you feeling about this one, Avengers Armageddon, the focal point of the Marvel universe currently?
I'm digging it. I mean, I like the whole premise of all this stuff launching out of, all the stuff with Doom in the last couple of years, and over in Captain America. I like the premise that, and it seems very real worldish, that our very, I don't know, conservative militaristic Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk, is forcibly taken over Latveria and claimed it for America. In fact, he's even renamed it New America.
Mm-hmm.
But he did this, if I remember right, without permission, without the sanction of the U.S. government or anybody else. And now he's trying to invade Symkaria, a neighboring nation. And of course, even though they were told not to, the American superheroes have gone over to try and stop him. And it's interesting that they've got, I forget his name, David somebody, this soldier who was the Captain America of basically Afghanistan. But they've got him in here, except he's had a power boost, so he's basically kind of almost sentry level powers, and he's helping out, but he's very single-minded and doesn't mind, collateral damage, causing collateral damage, which the rest of the Avengers are like, quit it, don't kill that guy. But he's like, no, democracy has to prevail. But which is the same thing that Red Hulk is kind of saying, except he's, more of like, well, my kind of democracy has to prevail. So it's a good little ideological clash.
It's an ideological clash for sure. And again, I do think the art is incredible, and I don't dislike it, but it's like, I liked One World Under Doom because you could point to a bad guy. And as an American right now, feeling like our country is doing the worst stuff it's ever done with the most despicable person possible at the helm, this story, while it has like a clear, people like Thunderbolt Ross are doing crappy, shitty stuff, like overstepping American bounds and pushing our beliefs on other countries and stuff. It doesn't have, to me, like a noticeable enough bad guy to make me feel comfortable about it. It's got that real world ambiguity of like, bad guys are heroes in their own mind doing their thing. And it reminds me of like when All New, All Different Marvel was coming out, and a lot of people were pissed off because they're like, that's not my Hulk. We got a lady Thor. We got this young guy as Hulk. And like, I didn't mind that at all when it was coming out. But the comparison I would make is just that we're dealing a lot with characters that I don't have much emotional investment in being bad guys or good guys. Like Thunderbolt Ross, I got to be honest, is a character I just don't care much about because it has such a militaristic association that like he's just like boring to the point of, or evil to the point of non-interest or boring to me. It's just like, yep, another terrible war person, military person. This is dealing with the United Nations and Russia and American politics and all of that. We've got the Winter Guard and that character that's in Thunderbolts that's by that guy that cheated on that awesome girl that was in Stranger Things as well. That, I think is going to be getting fewer and fewer roles in the future here. So like, while I do think the art is awesome in this, it was just like highly political and real world, but in a way that didn't give me any catharsis about like like One World Under Doom was like, I see the comparisons with this and Trump, and I was getting like catharsis in people combating that. And this to me doesn't have quite kind of that clear catharsis for me. It's very gray and muddled. We're only on issue 2, so that could clearly get lined up and things will be more clear on the bad guy, good guy side. But it just doesn't, we've got this like Captain America character that Chip Zdarsky created within the last year as a prominent character, which I think is awesome. But yeah, it hasn't quite made me excited to read it, Roman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love comic books.
No. It's funny because when we got this issue, I couldn't remember the first issue, anything about it.
Totally.
And luckily in the beginning, it quickly, without being too expository, reminded me of everything that happened there.
And I think it did that well. I think that it did not feel too expository, but similarly, I didn't remember the first issue at all because I didn't love it. It gave us a recap and in a positive way. So well done there.
Yeah. And I like it. I like the art. There was a scene early on, I guess it's the first splash page really, or half a splash page, when I really had to examine it because it's so detailed and they're all attacking the Red Hulk and his troops. And over in the corner, Iron Man, I thought at first he's fighting some kind of yellow tendrils, and then I realized, oh no, that's just a whole buttload of little missiles coming off of Iron Man's armor and targeting things. But I don't know, the way it's kind of a visual poetry with the way all the contrails from the missiles are drawn, and they aren't just straight lines. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, I said it, and if it came across just like creating a cushion of positivity beneath a different thing, like, no, the art in this is really astounding. Yeah. Like the double page you're referring to, I totally agree. There are a ton of them in here where I think that it also, like, the credit goes to more than just the pencilers and inkers. Like, I think the colorist, who's Sonia Obach, it's incredible. Like, the pages look beautiful in here. Kind of the cliffhanger of this issue is like we're touching on the mystery mother box type things that have the powers of the people from the Ultimate Universe that were brought over here. And we're touching on that at the end where they find one that has maybe the power to like see the future or something. And Iron Man goes into like a military tent and looks at a screen. And apparently he's somehow looking at that box maybe, but he sees a vision of the future. And it looks like a nuclear destruction on Earth. But I was like, as much as I love the art in this, I was very confused about what I was seeing in that.
Yeah, and it was, for reading it as I was reading, I was confusing it with DC cosmic machines. Like, isn't there, like in Grant Morrison's Final Crisis, wasn't there an old cosmic device called the Miracle Machine or something? And I was confusing it in my head with, wait, what future telling device is in which universe?
And this is like, it's an unknown object giving off what appears to be multiversal energy. Based on what I can tell, it may be a prognostication machine for seeing the future. And you're like, okay, like, can you give me a little bit more of this story up front?
I was kind of, is it a cosmic cube but from the Ultimate Universe? Is that what we're saying?
And it seems like that. Origin boxes, I believe, are their names. But yeah, it was just a little confusing.
Origin boxes
visually. Yeah.
It is interesting. It's interesting too that for me, because I'm a little older, I've been reading. I like seeing Thunderbolt Ross being a villain again, because when I first started reading comics in the 70s, he was the big villain in the overall villain, and then he kind of was lightened up in the 90s, and
then the Red Hulk guy stuff made him
mellowed out,
ambiguous. And
now I'm glad he's back to being a villain, because I always liked him as a villain.
I agree. It's like what I would like to happen with Jason Todd. Like, I want that guy to be Batman's biggest failure, and therefore the worst villain for him.
Yeah, I agree. So what would you give it?
I'm gonna give it an 8. I think that the art like is truly top tier. And to be by artists whose names I didn't immediately recognize, really, really fantastic. And again, want to mention Sonia Obach's colors. I think she is doing an amazing amount of work there. But the artists, Delio Diaz and Frank Alpizar, it's a really beautiful comic book. And I think that any of my complaints are kind of just based on like the issue 1 and 2 of a large story. Like they're doing a lot of expository stuff. The recap wasn't painful to endure, but as far as what they're doing, interlacing a lot of teams of characters and people that I'm not very familiar with, it's hard for me to create kind of a sense of foundation. Who is good? Who is bad? We're spending time in the political muck, and I don't necessarily get a sense of catharsis yet that like we're using it to shit on this person that we all hate, or not all of us, but certainly me. So yeah, that's you know, so I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it's a quality comic book, but as far as a monthly read along, I'm dragging a little bit behind there.
I agree with a lot of that. Yeah, I'll give it an 8. I'm curious what this, and plus I'm curious to see what they do with this David Colton character, because I trust Zdarsky. I wouldn't want it to be him become just another Sentry, but I don't think Zdarsky is going to do that. And just a little note here. I just noticed this has a legacy number of 804.
I thought that was fucking insane. Pardon my F-word, Facebook.
Is this taking up the numbering of the Avengers main title?
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is insane to me.
Yeah, because it's issue 2, but it's also issue 804.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
So Roman, this poorly orchestrated, poorly put together version of our podcast, episode 430 to 432, also a 0.5 issue. We've gone long doing tech problems, talking about bananas, the Odyssey, but we do have some things I want to touch on really quickly.
Sure.
I just want to mention that Assorted Crisis Events number 9 came out this week. Seems like a new issue of Ask Creeve is something to celebrate, largely because I didn't know if it was only going to be one volume. I think it was issues 5 through 8 were volume 2. Alphen Waves says it's been a great episode, and I love you, Alphen Waves. I want you to be on the podcast next week. So send us your information while we're in San Diego, and let's get you on here, Alphen Waves. Alphen Waves.
Is it Alphen Waves? Like Alf, the character from
Alphen.
Yeah.
But Assorted Crisis Events, or as I like to refer to it as Ask Creeve number 9, this was a really awesome issue of a series that has the ability to be a bummer sometimes, because they'll talk about your parents having dementia and stuff. But this is continuing Dennis Camp and Eric Zawadzki's run on this series, where each issue dials into a weird aspect of a reality where time is collapsing, and it doesn't need to be more specific or precise than that. But in this one, we have some young teen who's broke, like we all are, and is trying to get money. And so he's tapping into this app called, what's it called? Temp. And it's this idea that like you can become a temporary worker for any event that needs you throughout time. So whether it's building the pyramids or the Greco-Roman wars or something in space, you can get hired to do these menial jobs and obviously not get paid enough to be doing them, which is awesome. And Roman, did you read this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you love the satire of it?
I did. And the fact that every now and then, the main character looks at his phone because he's using the app to get the jobs. Like the first paycheck he gets, he's looking at it, he's going, what the hell is this? Because there's all this, all these fees and taxes and equipment fees and crap taken out of his check. So he gets like, he only gets paid for 39 hours basically for like, I don't know what he worked, 70 or something.
Yep.
And it's just all the usual real world crap stuff that we all put up with at the blue collar level. Yeah, blue collar.
Yeah, that's probably what we're looking at. Yeah. I love that cynical look at it because it's like positive future world building, but rooted in this like menial shit that we all deal with. And it, in that regard, reminded me very much of a Mark Russell comic.
It did. Yeah, and it's all because like the creator of the app is basically an Elon Musk type character. It's all making him richer, and like there's one great scene where our main character returns again to looks like building the pyramids, and he runs into this fellow slave, and so oh my god, and he realizes, and he's like, oh my god, I talked to you when you were a kid. What have you been up to? And the guy's like, well, since I was able to walk, I've been pushing bricks up this pyramid, and now I'm an old man. That's what I've been up to. That's my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that satirical cynicism that Dennis Camp puts in there, because it's not overly cynical, but it's a bummer. But I think more than anything, what Dennis Camp as a writer has consistently done with this series is tap into different types of stories that can be told around the idea of time breaking down. So it's not like your classic Back to the Future person going back in time and affecting the present, like, or any of the other many numbers of time travel theories that generally go into a time travel story. Each issue of this seems to do it in a different and unique way, and I think that is so cool, because it's not just time travel, it's time breaking down and fracturing, which is a different thing. So this is this weird blending of that aspect, time breaking down, and then also this like capitalist tech-centric way that present day America would be capitalizing on time breaking down. So it's cynical, but silly in the way a Mark Russell comic is. And then Eric Zawadzki's art is consistently gorgeous, the way that he does pages that are panels or pages that are like visual graphics that are set up. And there's a page about in here where he's like, he gets off his Greco-Roman war shift and he gets to go party with everybody at a karaoke club, and there's like somebody there doing Mongolian throat singing, or oh man, what was it? Alexander the Great's cousin is here, and everyone just calls him Alexander the and then it just says after that, he's all right. And like just that, like, again, it's funny if you think that type of stuff is funny, and if it's not, you'd be like just paging through this thing and it would be a nothing. But if it is the type of stuff that you think is funny and smart, you'd love it. So I just want to say I give Assorted Crisis Events number 9 a 9.
Oh, I was gonna say I give it a 9 too. All of that, and this issue, the Twilight Zone style ending, and it's great.
Yeah, the only thing I would like is to have spent a little bit more time with the ending, because I feel like there's a little bit more to be mined out of there than I got. But
yeah, there could be. This could have been a two issue.
Yeah, I just don't know that I fully got what they were trying to say there. But Romans, you read Spider-Man Punisher #1 that came out this week, which seems, cosmically in line with the fact that a new Spider-Man movie is coming out in a couple weeks, and the Punisher is going to be in it.
Oh my gosh!
Just hanging out together in the Odyssey. Yep. But what did you think about this? You said that you dug it.
Yeah, this was a lot better than I expected it to be. Dan Abnett,
who wrote and drew? Okay, sorry. Thank you. That's
Dan Abnett wrote it, and I looks like I'm just looking at the cover because I haven't found the credits page. Matteo Della Fonte is the artist, and Rachel Rosenberg, Inc. I assume. But this was a great. I mean, this would be a great, as intended. I'm sure this would be a great jumping on point if you're not familiar with, like, our dear Logan this week on Tuesday asked me, how come in Punisher's first appearance, why was he gunning for Spider-Man? And I didn't remember exactly because of the Jackal had framed Spider-Man for that he had killed the Punisher's friend, because I guess the Punisher had a friend back then. And this issue kind of retells that, but from a much deeper perspective than the original first appearance. and just has some great dialogue, some great moral quandaries. Introduces a villain that we haven't been familiar with before. That's a Catholic religious themed gimmick villain called Father Crime, which that's great cheese. I love it. And Frank and Spidey have to put him down, and it just defined. And there's one panel, boy, that's a direct lift off of one of Mike Zeck's Punisher covers from the 90s, I think.
I want to see that page. This just forgot to get in my stack this week. So
okay, well, I think it was Mike Zeck. That's what I'm guessing. This panel right here.
Oh yeah,
right up there.
Yep. I can picture it as well. It might be number 1, but yeah, his torso and he's just gunning. Yeah. Of the 4-issue miniseries.
Yeah, which seems like a pretty kind of impractical way to attack, but
he's got
some kind of armor.
That's the way to punish people. That's how you punish people, Roman.
He's got kind of, but yeah, it was lots of good dialogue between them, and lots of good moments of them almost revealing things, especially Punisher almost in his silences revealing some stuff that Spidey picks up on. It was good stuff, and it's got and it's set back during their first meeting. And it has a good moment where Johnny Storm and Spidey meet on top of the Empire State Building like they always used to. And they're buddies. But Johnny's like, what are you doing, man? Hanging out with this Punisher guy? He's a villain. What's going on? And Spidey's, it's just the moral quandary, the usual moral quandary of the Punisher existing with all these non-killing superheroes.
You talking about that issue and talking about the question that Logan brought up, it made me think that like Logan is gunning for a spot on this podcast. We got to get Logan in for an episode. That would be amazing.
We should.
Because they ask amazing questions, but it also makes me think we got to get Felix in here for an episode as well, so we can get Felix doing a Boys Love special. We'll do like a manga Logan special collaborative thing, but I would love to do that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
But it's good to hear that this was not just like a flash in the pan because that movie is coming out. Like, what would you score it at?
Yeah, this is actually adds to the mythos of both of them. I'd score this at an 8.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Good solid comic. I'll be reading the next issue.
Score's not coming up here. I will switch the image from the banana to Foundations for my next book that I'm going to talk about just before we get out of here, which is Dark Knights of Steel 2, number 1. I just have to throw this out there. Tom Taylor and Otto Schmidt on art this time, not Putri, whose name first name I forget. Oliver Putri, maybe. Dark Knights of Steel was a mini-series that Tom Taylor had done after Deceased, capitalizing on the sort of Elseworlds DC stories that they could tell while Elseworlds didn't exist. This is now coming out under the Elseworlds branding, which is awesome. This has art by Otto Schmidt, who is an artist whose work I love. I do not know much about them as a person, but maybe there's, I don't know. I don't know about the person. But Django said maybe there's some reason to be a little bit hesitant. I haven't done the research yet. I just want to say that if DC's putting their art in a book, then I'm going to stand by their art still, singularly just their art. But this is like medieval time frame DC comics, which because of Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, all of that, the Odyssey, I have developed way more of an interest in that visual and story aesthetic than I used to have. So I thought getting to revisit the Dark Knights of Steel era, which was like at the very least, we were at the previous store. So it was like 3 years ago, maybe more, maybe less. But it was a while ago. I like an Elseworld, but I also like an Elseworld that's built on a universal conceit that can be expanded upon. And the way that Tom Taylor tells Elseworld stories is that they are able to be expanded upon. Deceased did that time and time again. He also did it with the one Injustice, the Injustice series, and he's done it with Dark Knights of Steel. He also did the Marvel Dark Age series, so he's very good at this sort of thing. He's very good at packing a lot of ideas that we are familiar with from the elsewhere, like from the world that we're going to else. You know, you're going to take that world and we're going to else it over here.
Else it up.
Elsa, let it snow, let it go. In the past, again, Putri had done the art, who I really love. But Otto Schmidt, an artist I really like. I first came to notice them in the DC Rebirth era of the Green Arrow Rebirth arc. Medieval stuff, but the DC universe. And it's so packed in there that it never feels like a one-lane Elseworld. Like they have the ability to just add more and more characters in. So in this one, you know, we have Oracle of Barbara Gordon added in there. Aquaman makes an appearance, but the politics and social structure of the world from the first volume has evolved in this next one. And we've got an awesome marriage between Wonder Woman and Supergirl, I believe. Like it's awesome. It's almost like the main DC continuity, I feel like, is almost secondary to the absolute continuity right now, which is fine because the absolute stuff is just soaring. But this is a nice kind of counterpoint to the secondary main universe that's been happening lately. Makes me want to pile on this just as much as I pile in on DC All In. So Tom Taylor, Roman, I know you haven't read this one. I love you, Tom Taylor. And he has, based on his Elseworld storytelling, gotten to do amazing runs like his Nightwing run and Detective Comics. But I really like when he gets to do just his own, totally own thing. And that is really, really cool. And that's what he gets to do here. He gets to make every character be what he wants them to be. So if you have not read Dark Knights of Steel, I would highly recommend it. There was also a little tiny mini series between 1 and 2 called All Winter that was very good. But again, really, really good stuff. I'm going to give this one an 8.5. It's almost a 9, but I'm going to give it just short of that as we're getting reintroduced to this series after kind of a large hiatus from it. Yasmin Putri is the artist that did the previous series, just to put that out there. But anyway, really good stuff. If you like DC Comics, if you like Elseworlds, if you're loving the Absolute books right now and are enjoying them because they're not the main universe, I would check out some of other Tom Taylor Elseworld stories. So Injustice, Dark Knights of Steel, Deceased, or even Marvel Dark Age. So check those out. 9.0 from J Figs. And from there, Roman, I think it's just time to get out of here because we've gone as long or longer than a lot of our episodes, but it's just you and I, and we're just a couple of schlub brothers. Alphen Vives said, loved mythology since Edith Hamilton's books as a child. So glad when comics mix them in. I don't know who you are, but I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. Roman, you had something to say there.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know who it is. And, you know, and I love Edith Hamilton. She was so great.
Yeah, dude.
I had the Wicked Witch and Wizard of Oz.
Oh, that's a joke. I had the Edith Hamilton hardcover of mythology that I stole from my high school class and kept with me through college and stuff. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Great book.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for slumming it with us this week. Couple of schlub brothers. Roman and Jeff, couple of schlub brothers over here at the Comics Place Presents Perfectly Acceptable podcast. You know, we got something out. It's at the very least something that is audio for people to hear secondarily, assuming that I'm recording it, and I will have an export to send to Andrew, the amazing editor, friend of the show. Andrew Carlson, we love you. Thank you for being a part of this for years.
Wonderful person.
And, you know, he's one of those people that like does this work for us every week. And I don't even get to see them weekly like I used to. And yet they're still here contributing to the cause, loving it. So just know we're so grateful for you. Will Elmer, thank you so much for sending a voicemail in. Thank you to Christopher Nolan for the Odyssey film. Roman, thanks for doing this on your Sunday evening when you could have been doing anything else.
No, thank you for getting this all and getting us somehow some kind of product content out there. Good job.
Generally, I try to steer the audio conversation, and General Django steers the tech.
General Django.
But this is what happens when it's just up to Jeff to do tech and convo. So appreciate, like I said, Schlub Brothers. That's what we're going to refer to it from now on. Brothers. When it's Jeff and Roman, it's the Schlub Bros. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. The people that showed up, we've got more viewers right now in this moment than we had at any point during the live stream. So if you are wondering how can I see the rest of this show, you can check it out by going to the Comics Place Presents YouTube channel, the Comics Place. We post these up there every week. They also live stream while we're doing it. Also on our Facebook channel, if any of you are still there. Thank you again, Craig Mueller and Ken Alberry, for being always the first in the chat, being ready to rock. I love that. Craig Mueller, if you are listening and watching as a person who doesn't know Craig Mueller organizes and kind of directs the conversation and the 3 weeks every month book club that the Comics Place does in person at the shop. If you are hearing this and you live in Bellingham and you're interested in joining that book club, shout out to us. Come into the Comics Place, let us know. There's a group chat, there's conversations. I always work on the night of the book club, and I do it strategically up where they have the conversations so that I can hear it and be a part of it. And it is just such a wonderful discourse of open-minded people with different opinions and personalities coming together to talk about comics, which is one of my favorite things. And I would be remiss if I got out of here. Craig Mueller mentions that in August, the conversational topic, the book for August, is going to be Sex Criminals, Volume 1, Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. Cool. Still to this day, my favorite Chip Zdarsky work. But I would be remiss if I left without saying that Roman, I'm nearing the end of Volume 8, hardcover Volume 8 of Berserk, and it's the best comic book that I've ever read.
I need your Volume 2.
Best comic book I've ever read. That's what we got. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you next time, either next week or the following week. We'll see what Django and I can pull together while we're in San Diego. If you've got anything you need us to take care of in San Diego on your behalf, let us know soon. We'll bring the things to get them signed for you. As always, I'm Jeff, and keep watching the skies. Roman, who are you?
As always, I'm Roman, and keep watching the seas.
And just an auditory reminder for everybody at the end of this podcast, Roman is the man that hired me at the Comics Place. He's the father spirit of all things Comics Place in Bellingham, Washington, and father comic to me in my mind. So thank you for being that, Roman. We'll see you all next time.
Thanks, everybody.